Story 1. I was halfway through my shift when the call came in. At first, I thought it was a pocket dial, just a faint shuffling, nothing distinct. It happens all the time. I was ready to disconnect when I heard it. A shaky, whispered breath. Barely audible, but it was there. "This is 911. What's your emergency?" I asked, keeping my voice calm, controlled. Silence. Then the faintest scrape, like someone shifting, trying to move without being heard. My gut told me something was off. "Hello? If you can't speak, make a noise." A muffled exhale came through, and it wasn't random. Someone was trying to tell me they were there, but couldn't talk. "Okay," I whispered into my headset. "If you're in danger, stay on the line. Don't hang up. I'll ask yes or no questions. Make a sound for yes." There was a pause, then the softest tap, like a fingernail against a phone's mic. "Yes." "Are you in immediate danger?" I asked. Tap. My heart sped up. I marked the call as active hostage situation in our system and typed the details quickly, flagging dispatch and our supervisor. We train for these, but every time it happens, it feels surreal. A bad movie playing out live in your ear. "Are you being held somewhere against your will?" Another tap. I leaned in, focusing on every faint sound. In the background, I heard movement. Footsteps maybe, pacing. My stomach twisted. The person on the other end was trying so hard not to make any noise. "Can you tell me where you are? If not, I'll ask yes or no questions to help you." I gave it a second, hoping, but there was nothing. "Is your phone location on?" Tap. Good. That was a start. I typed into the system, requesting a trace. It could take a minute, but I knew every second counted. I kept my tone steady, hoping it would help them stay calm. "Are the people holding you close by right now?" A longer pause, then a soft tap. I felt a chill run down my spine. Whoever was calling had someone dangerous right next to them, close enough to catch them if they slipped up. "Are you alone with them?" No sound. "Are there others being held with you?" Another pause, then tap. I typed faster, alerting dispatch that we were possibly dealing with multiple hostages. I could feel the tension through the call, the effort it took for them to answer without drawing attention. "Do they have weapons?" I asked next, my hands flying over the keyboard. Tap. I bit the inside of my cheek. Armed suspects changed everything. I flagged the call as urgent, requesting tactical backup. We needed SWAT and we needed them fast. "Are you injured?" Silence. "Is anyone else injured?" Another long pause, then tap. My heart dropped. "Okay," I whispered. "Help is coming. Stay with me. I'll keep asking questions to get more information." I could hear muffled voices in the background, low, agitated. I strained to catch anything, but it was just out of reach. "Do you know how many people are holding you?" I asked, hoping for a clue. 3 soft taps. "3 of them," I repeated aloud, updating the log. "If there's a chance to give me more details, even by sound, try to do it." I kept my voice level, but my pulse was racing. Dispatch message back. They were pinging the caller's phone, but the location was still updating. It was somewhere in the vicinity of a residential neighborhood. "Are you inside a house?" Tap. "Are you in the same room as the suspects?" Tap. I clenched my fist. Every answer confirmed that the person on the other end was in the thick of it. No chance to run, no way to scream for help. The faint shuffle of fabric came through, followed by what sounded like a sharp intake of breath. Something had changed. The tension doubled. "Are they coming toward you?" I asked softly, gripping my headset. Tap. My throat tightened. "Okay, stay as quiet as you can. If you need to hide the phone, do it, but keep the call connected." More shuffling, then silence. I held my breath, listening, waiting. Seconds stretched into eternity. Finally, dispatch pinged back with the address, a house on the edge of town. SWAT was en route, but I needed to buy them more time. "If you can, tell me, are there any exits nearby?" I asked, knowing it was a long shot. No answer. Then barely a whisper. "Back door." It was the first word they'd managed to say, so faint it almost didn't register. But it was there, and it was enough. I typed it in, updating SWAT. Suspect location: 3 armed men, possibly multiple hostages, back door is an exit option. Okay, I whispered. Help is almost there. You've done great so far. Just hang on. The voices in the background grew louder, more urgent. Something was happening. Maybe the suspects realized something was off. I prayed they wouldn't check the phone. Suddenly, the line went dead. My heart sank, and I stared at the screen, willing the call to reconnect. Nothing. But then over the dispatch channel, the message I'd been waiting for came through. SWAT had arrived. They were surrounding the house, preparing to breach. I sat frozen, gripping the desk, waiting for updates. Every second dragged by like an eternity. Then the final message came through. Hostages found. Suspects in custody. Everyone's safe. I let out a breath I hadn't realized I was holding. My hands shook as I reached for the next call, but the faint tap from the phone took a long time to forget. Story 2. I can't forget this call. I tell myself I did everything I could, but deep down, I know that's not true. It was around 12:30 a.m. when the call came in. I was tired, zoning out, waiting for the shift to end. When the call connected, I answered it without thinking. 911, what's your emergency? The response was instant, a boy's voice, high and trembling. There's someone in the house. I sat up, heart thudding in my chest. Okay, I've got you, I said, keeping my tone level. What's your name? Jordan, he whispered. His breath hitched like he'd been running. I locked myself in my room, but I think they're still downstairs. My mom's down there. That was enough to snap me into action. I pulled up his location and sent officers immediately. Okay, Jordan, you're doing great. Stay on the line with me. Do you know how many people are in the house? I heard 2. They were yelling. I think they're looking for something. Do you know what they want? No. His voice cracked. They said something about my mom owing them, but I swear I don't know. He stopped mid-sentence, his voice shrinking into silence. That hesitation, it was a red flag. I should have asked more questions, should have slowed him down, but I didn't. I thought keeping him calm was more important. You're doing good, Jordan. Just stay where you are. Officers are on their way. I watched the dispatch window, 5 minutes out. It wasn't enough time, and we both knew it. Then I heard it, the slow, deliberate thud of footsteps coming up the stairs. They're coming, Jordan whispered, breath hitching. Okay, don't move. Stay absolutely still. His breathing quickened, shallow and fast. I could tell he was on the verge of breaking. They're on the stairs, he whispered, his voice cracking under the weight of his fear. I can hear them. A second passed, then another. I heard the thump of boots on wood, steady, each step deliberate. I leaned into the mic, keeping my voice low and calm. You've got this, Jordan. You're doing great. Just keep quiet, okay? Stay hidden. He let out a tiny whimper, the kind a kid makes when he's holding in tears. They're checking every room. I glanced at the dispatch. 4 minutes left. God, it felt like hours. Jordan, are you hidden where they won't see you? I asked gently, hoping to anchor him before he panicked. There was a long silence, then a nervous breath. I'm under the bed. I think they'll look here. I don't... His voice faltered. Stay still, I whispered. Don't move. They won't find you. The footsteps got louder. I could hear one of the intruders moving through the hallway now, checking rooms, opening doors. One of them muttered something, but I couldn't make it out. They're at my mom's door, Jordan whispered. I think they're going in. I clenched my jaw. My hands hovered over the keyboard, helpless. 3 minutes left. There was a pause and then the distant creak of a door opening. I heard muffled voices, low and sharp. She's not here, one of them growled. Check the other rooms, said another voice, more impatient. It's gotta be somewhere. Jordan whimpered quietly through the line. They're coming, he whispered, barely holding it together. I leaned closer to the mic. You're doing great, Jordan. Just stay still. They won't find you. Then came the mistake, the thing that will haunt me forever. Are you sure you're in the best spot, Jordan? I whispered, trying to keep him steady. Maybe somewhere better, just in case? It slipped out without thinking, just words to reassure him, to make him feel safer. But it was the wrong thing to say. I heard the panic hit him like a wave. "They're right outside," Jordan gasped, his breath loud and ragged. "I have to move! I have to!" "Jordan, no!" I hissed. "Stay still! Don't!" It was too late. I heard the scrape of wood as he shifted, the bed frame creaking under his movement. A second later, the door crashed open. "No, no, please!" Jordan's voice cracked as he begged. What followed was chaos, heavy boots thudding, furniture tipping over, Jordan's terrified screams filling the line. And then suddenly, silence. "Jordan," I whispered, barely able to speak. Nothing. I sat frozen, staring at the dispatch window. 3 minutes. Just 3 more minutes. But there was no sound on the line. I tried calling back. Voicemail. When the officers finally arrived, I saw the update come through. Scene secured. 1 injured. I stared at the screen, numb. If I hadn't told him to move, if I'd just kept him still, he might have made it safely. Instead, my words made him panic. My voice pushed him to move when he should have stayed hidden. Jordan's mom never spoke to me. She wouldn't know who I was, just a voice on the other end of a phone. But every time I sit down at this desk, I think of that call. Story 3. It was 10 years ago, and nothing has ever disturbed me more than the conversation I overheard that night. It started as a pocket dial, or so I thought. Just some shuffling, fabric brushing against the mic. I almost hung up. It's routine, really. But then I caught a voice. "Right here should work. Start digging." Something in me froze. The voice was calm, too casual, like they were planting a tree, not burying something. I leaned forward, muting my end so they wouldn't hear me, and flagged my supervisor. Just in case. The call stayed live, and I could hear them. 2 men, maybe 3, but only 2 spoke. There was the rhythmic scrape of something against dirt. "Don't half-ass it this time," the second guy said. "Last time the smell leaked out in, like, 3 days. The first one grunted. "Not my fault. Should have used more lime." Then came a wet squelch, the sound of a shovel hitting mud, followed by the heavy drag of something being pulled. You don't need to see what's happening to know. It makes your stomach twist because your brain fills in the blanks. "Careful," the first man warned, voice sharper now. "Her arm's slipping out." "I see it," the other muttered. "Jesus, it's still squishy." "Of course it's squishy. We didn't get to her fast enough." He let out a sharp tsk, like he was fixing a faucet, not handling a body. "Pull it tighter around the head. You're making a mess." My throat tightened. My hands were already typing into the system. Suspected homicide, active situation. The trace was running, and I was praying it would ping soon. Then it got worse. "You want to do the toes this time? Or should I?" The second man chuckled. "Nah, man, you're the foot guy. That's all you." A soft snip echoed through the line. I clenched my teeth, trying not to picture it, but the image forced itself in anyway. "Bag them separate. Remember last time?" "Yeah," the first one said with a laugh. "Her sister found them in the dumpster. I thought she was going to pass out." They both laughed like it was an inside joke. Finally, the location trace pinged. A farmhouse way out in the sticks. Deputies were already on the way, but it would take them at least 10 minutes. All I could do was sit there, stuck listening to the worst thing I've ever heard. They weren't done. "Grab the tarp," one of them said, "and the rope. I think her knees locked up." A sickening crunch followed, wet and heavy. "There we go. Now she bends." I gripped the edge of the desk to keep from throwing my headset across the room. My supervisor gave me a quick glance, reminding me to stay professional, but it was getting harder by the second. "You think anyone will come looking?" "Nah," the first guy said. "She's just another junkie. Nobody's gonna miss her." A grunt followed as they heaved something heavy. The body. I could hear it dragging across the dirt. "God, she reeks." "Quit whining. Just get the lime." They worked in silence for a minute, just the scrape of shovels and the crinkle of plastic. Then out of nowhere, one of them spoke again. "You ever think about keeping one?" There was a long pause. I stopped breathing. "You mean, like, alive?" the other asked, a little too curious. "Yeah, just to see what it'd be like." The second guy whistled softly. "Man, you're twisted." But he didn't say no. There was a heavy thump, something being tossed into a trunk, followed by the clunk of the trunk slamming shut. We good? Yeah, just gotta rinse off the tools. You think we need the gloves? What, you afraid of Prince now? The first man snorted. They ain't gonna find her. A door creaked open, followed by the rumble of a car engine. I could hear one of them shuffle around, probably shifting the phone deeper into a pocket. Let's grab a bite after this. I'm starving. Same. Think that burger joint's still open? They laughed, loud, easy laughter, like they were just two buddies finishing up some yard work. Then the call cut off. I stared at the blank screen, heart racing, bile burning in the back of my throat. Deputies were closing in on the farmhouse, but the men were already on the move. I grabbed my radio, desperate for any edge. Tell units to hit every burger joint within 10 miles. They said they were heading for food. It felt like a long shot, but it was all I had. 10 minutes passed, then 20. My screen stayed empty. The farmhouse was abandoned by the time deputies arrived. Just an empty hole in the ground, a shovel, and a dusting of lime. They were gone. No arrests, no suspects. Just two men who slipped away, laughing like they'd never be caught, and they are still laughing. Story 4. You get all kinds of callers, liars, attention seekers, and people who want to confess, believing that saying it out loud will somehow make it less real. And sometimes you get a caller who sounds so calm that you wish, more than anything, they were lying. 911, what's your emergency? For a moment, there was just static, the faint hum of the line. Then a man's voice came through, quiet but steady. I killed him. I sat up straight, fingers hovering over the keyboard. What did you say, sir? I killed him, he repeated like he was reporting the weather. I muted my mic and signaled my supervisor. Possible confession, getting details. I typed into the system. My heartbeat thudded in my ears, but I kept my voice steady. Okay, sir, what's your name? There was a pause, like he was thinking about it. Adam. All right, Adam. Can you tell me where you are right now? I'm in his apartment, Adam said softly, almost to himself. 3rd floor, apartment 302, I typed fast, flagging the address for dispatch. Is anyone else in the apartment with you, Adam? Another pause. Then with unsettling calm, he said, No, just me and him. Is the person you hurt still breathing? No, Adam whispered. He's dead. My fingers flew across the keyboard, feeding every word to the responding units. Okay, Adam, are you injured? Number not hurt. Can you tell me what happened? There was a long breath on the other end, like he was trying to put the pieces together himself. He wouldn't stop yelling. I told him to stop, but he kept going. His voice cracked slightly before flattening again. So I hit him. I didn't mean to, but he fell. He hit the floor and I think his neck broke. He paused. I could hear his breathing pick up, shallow and uneven. I thought he'd stop yelling, but now it's too quiet. I clenched my jaw to keep steady, updating the system. Units were a few minutes away. I needed to keep him calm. Adam, where were you before you came here? Another pause, this one longer. I don't remember, he said, voice distant. I think I was outside and I followed him inside. The way he said it made my skin crawl, like he was just figuring it out as he spoke. Did you know him, Adam? I asked. No, he whispered, almost childlike. I thought I did, but now I don't think so. My pulse quickened, but I kept my tone even. You're doing the right thing by staying on the line, Adam. I need you to stay exactly where you are. Can you do that for me? He sniffled, almost like he was holding back tears. I didn't mean for it to happen. I couldn't take the yelling. It's okay, Adam, I said, even though it wasn't. Help is on the way. Just stay calm and stay where you are. I thought maybe he deserved it, he said after a moment. But now I don't know. There was a sound in the background, a dull thud, like something shifting or falling over. What was that, Adam? I asked sharply. I think I kicked him, he said, voice dazed. He feels heavy now, like too heavy. I swallowed hard, forcing my hands to stay steady on the keyboard. Adam, listen to me. Sit down somewhere safe. Officers will be there soon. Will they take me away? He asked quietly. Right now, I just need you to stay where you are, I said. There was a long silence on the other end. Then he spoke again, his voice almost dreamy. I thought it would feel different. I didn't know what to say to that. Adam, I began carefully, just focus on staying calm. The officers are almost there. He let out a small laugh, bitter and empty. I thought I'd feel free, but I don't feel anything at all. In the background, I heard the distant creak of a door opening. Then louder. Police! Don't move! The call cut off abruptly. I sat there for a moment, staring at the dead line, my heart hammering in my chest. When the radio crackled to life, the deputy's voice was grim. We got him, the deputy said. He was just sitting there next to the body. I waited, fingers hovering over the keyboard, hoping for some clarity, but then the deputy added, he says he doesn't even know who the guy is. There was nothing else to say. No twist, no explanation, just a dead man on the floor and a killer who seemed just as lost as everyone else. Thanks for watching. Don't leave before leaving a like to this video. Also hit the subscribe button to support my work. And as always, have a horrific nightmare, my dear.